Welcome to the Jeff Crilley Show. And now, here's Jeff Crilley.
One of the most popular segments we do here on the Jeff Crilley Show is called our Legal Eagle segment. And joining me right now is Scott Palmer. His website is scottpalmerlaw.com. Welcome to the Jeff Crilley Show.
Thanks for having me on, Jeff. Appreciate it.
So how did this start? When you were a little boy, did you want to be a lawyer?
You know, my uncle is a lawyer, and he's actually local as well, and he kind of inspired me to go to law school, found the law school locally, and I applied, got in, and for years I wanted to be a lawyer. I've got two uncles that are lawyers, actually, and it was sort of a dream, and then after college, trying to figure out what to do with my life, and law school let me in, and 19 years later, here I am with a practice with 12 people on the payroll and three children.
Very successful practice.
It's been a good run. We've when you do the kind of law that I do, which is people's law, people getting in trouble, people getting injured, people's problems. Every day is a new day. You wake up and you don't know what this phone is going to ring or how many times it's going to ring. It's been ringing for 19 years, which is very successful. Very proud of that. But people's problems, real people's problems. I do have a family lawyer that works for me, so he deals with the child custody battles and the divorces, unfortunately, and those matters. I don't touch those. I can't do those anymore. I did them when I first started my practice, but quickly figured out that wasn't for me. And then, hired another lawyer to do that. But I deal mainly with criminal defense and personal injury. In the past about 10 years, I've gotten into civil rights violations, police brutality, excessive force, false arrest, that type of thing, which unfortunately is kind of on the mainstream of media these days, as we've seen this situation going on in Chicago this weekend.
Absolutely. When I talk to some lawyers who they're not trial attorneys, their life is fairly mundane. I can't say that about you.
No, I'm in court literally every day. I've had more jury trials this year than any year of my career, whether it be personal injury cases or criminal defense cases. I've been in court, literally in trial in front of juries. Probably, I think it's 18 or 19 Mondays this year, which is a lot for my practice. But it is not mundane. We don't do transactional work. We don't represent businesses.
Right.
We represent people with problems and try to resolve those problems for them. Generally, we are successful, but sometimes, it depends on the case, of course. Sometimes success is measured differently based on the case.
One of the things that impresses me about you is you're just a very honorable guy. I know you brought your kids with you today, and I'm telling your kids your dad is very special. You don't take just any case, and you do right by your client.
Yeah, there was a time when I took everything that came my way because, when you're starting a business, like any other business, like the people you've had on this morning, you grow. But over time, there are times when I tell people you don't have a case. And there are people that want to sue certain people, employers. I don't do a lot of employment law, but I'll have to talk people off the ledge sometimes. And it's a difficult conversation because people want me to give them a solution, and it's usually a legal solution. But sometimes the best case is the one you don't take. And there are many people that leave disappointed or they call me with a problem and I'm like, you do not have a case, or I don't believe you have a case, but keep searching on the web or find another lawyer. I'm not the only lawyer in the world, but they value my opinion because either they're coming to me from a referral from a friend or a family member or online. And but I do not take every case. There's no question. But when it comes to criminal law, everyone needs a lawyer.
Right.
There are certain people that I can get a little bit picky because I don't think that we're going to have the type of character, rapport. And, some people can be quite abrasive and acrimonious, and I don't need that. But they still need a lawyer. They need the system to work for them as well. So when it comes to criminal law, if you have a case, you need to have a lawyer. Sometimes it's not the right fit, though.
And you've really, through hard work and your ethics, become a top flight attorney here in Dallas-Fort Worth. I mean, if somebody is kind of fighting for their life in court, you're their guy.
I like to think so. I mean, over the past 5 years, I've been nominated by my peers through D Magazine, has an annual list of top lawyers, and I've been fortunate enough to be nominated by other lawyers vote. It's not people. It's not the clients voting. It's other lawyers. So other lawyers in the community can vote and say you're the best criminal defense lawyer. I've been in that for 5 years, and if we make it this year, it's always the kind of the push to get it the next year. So for 5 years, it's been great. Prior to that, it was they had a list for under 40. I'm no longer under 40. I can barely remember when I was under 40, but I made the list back in 2000 and. I think it was 2002 and then 2006. But it's a good way to get marketing as well. People that read the magazine, regular people that are waiting in doctors' offices and shopping, they see your face in the magazine and they say, well, he's got some credibility, and it's a good it's an honor to be in there because your peers are voting for you.
My guest right now, Scott Palmer, scottpalmerlaw.com. You represent clients that make the news. I mean, just in the last couple of years, it seems like you're all over the news. Yeah,
mainly the personal injury, actually the civil rights, which is a kind of a segue between criminal defense and personal injury. Those get a lot of media attention, and I've had some cases that have gone viral on the internet and locally, and then across the country, mainly involving civil rights violations, because people can really, it resonates with people how when police behave badly,
right.
And usually if it's caught on video, it gives a visual to the general public that this needs to stop happening, and how can this happen in the first place in America? So I've been fortunate to get several cases, and they kind of snowball from there.
Let's talk about that a little bit. It seems like there was a time when the jury always believes the cop, that right. that they have an advantage. The man or woman with the badge couldn't be lying to me. Are you seeing the pendulum start to swing?
Yeah, over the years, I think that people are starting to be a little more skeptical of the badge. Unfortunately, I mean, it's not something that I want to have happen, but there are lots of good policemen out there. There's no question, and the vast majority of policemen are honest, hardworking, ethical. But it's the small percentage that seem to kind of skirt the line and take things and kind of think they're above the law, and that they can manipulate the truth and make false arrests and fabricate evidence and hide evidence. We're seeing that more and more, and I don't know if it's a measure of the social media and the digital age kind of bringing it to the forefront. But when juries see videos that contradict the police report, they start to wonder, and their eyebrows are raised, and then there's reasonable doubt, especially in criminal cases, which is that's the standard. But in civil cases where you have civil rights violations, I basically want a video. I mean, video, juries demand them, judges want to see them. I want to see them as well, because then you have really almost a objective measure of what happened. I know it's two-dimensional, but like we've seen this video in Chicago that came out a year after the
right.
The young man was shot. It's enraged a lot of people, including the president. Why a child or a young man would be shot 15 times if that distance makes no sense, and it is enraging.
Are we approaching a time, because of the technology, where it is a part of the uniform? Is the camera is a part of the uniform?
Well, literally is. Dallas Police Department has initiated a body cam system that's recently gone into effect. We expect to see these body camera, the footage, as well as the dash cam footage from the vehicles. Of course, people are always videoing their own arrests sometimes as well, which sort of has an interesting play, and the police don't want to see any more video cameras rolling other than their own. But the multiple perspectives on cases is always helpful for me to analyze a case. Juries want to see as much as they can. They want as much information as they can, because not always do my clients testify. Sometimes the video camera testifies for them, and we don't need to call them. There's just not a need for it. But yeah, these days in jury trials, as much media as we can provide, as well as the state can provide, the better generally. And that cuts both ways. Sometimes if you have a DWI and you look horrible on the video, well, there's a reason for it, and it's hard to kind of fight the video as well. And sometimes those cases don't go to trial. But sometimes when you have things to work with, and the video will kind of show the difference between what the officer reported and what the camera is showing, we can really kind of exploit those issues.
Tell me about what makes you tick. I mean, what are those victories that you look forward to?
When you represent people, even people that are truly guilty, fighting and winning for them as well as the innocent, it's very satisfying. That's the most important thing in their life. There's no question. They only have one case generally. And that's the most important thing in life. Whether it's an injury case, whether it's a criminal case, and they're under indictment, the stress that is caused by those legal problems, I call it legal cancer, they want to get rid of it. They want to be done with it, and they want someone that can stand up for them and fight for them. And when you do that successfully and you get a pat on the back or a review online, knowing that you've done everything you can for them, and it's affected their lives in a positive way or minimize the damage that they are otherwise facing, it just feels good. And it's very satisfying.
You brought your kids today.
I did.
Why don't we bring them on camera? Your son is actually running a camera himself.
Yeah,
this ought to be interesting. And your daughter?
Yeah, this is Dylan Palmer, who's 9 years old.
Hi, guys.
And this is Ellie, who's our youngest, who's 5.
Hi.
Dylan's twin sister, Jade, is at Nutcracker practice. She's
Ballet.
She's a ballerina, so she couldn't make it today.
That's awesome. And you've got the coolest shoes. Can you raise your foot up so that the audience can see it? Oh, my goodness. Those are some shoes, girl.
Say thank you.
Now, at this point, are either child expressing an interest in the law?
Not at the moment, but as they get older, we'll see if they gravitate towards dad's practice or not. But I think my son wants to be a YouTuber and a hockey player. He's destined to be an NHL hockey star, according to his recent estimations. But and this one is probably going to be a ballerina as well, correct?
That's awesome. Well, I want you both to know you have a very special daddy. Thank you. That's awesome. That's so sweet.
Thanks, guys.
Scott, give us your website one more time.
Well, I've got two. I've got www.scottpalmerlaw.com. That's my criminal website, and I also have a personal injury website. It's Scott Palmer, PI lawyer, personalinjurylawyer.com. So you can find me on both of those. I'm all over social media as well, but if you ask me what my Twitter or my Facebook is, I probably wouldn't be able to tell you. It's Scott H. Palmer, PC is the name of the firm. Again, we do family law. I don't do it. I have another board-certified family lawyer named David Housel who does the family law. But we take all types of cases and people that need help in the legal world. We'd be glad to help you out.
Awesome. Thank you so much, and
Thank you,
thanks
Jeff.
for bringing your kids.
My pleasure. Thank you.
When we come back, it's been raining and roofs are leaking. So how do you know when you need to bring in a roofer, and how do you find the right one? That's coming up on The Jeff Crilley Show.
More of The Jeff Crilley Show coming up.